Give me the tea. What's the drama? What's happening in your life? I want to know.
Happy Monday morning. Y'all get ready with me as I tell you the story about my low down, dirty, two-time sack of crap ex-husband. Y'all buckle up because this is the wildest story that's ever happened in my life. So, one day we had moved into this house. We've been married for a couple years now. We had moved into this new house because we just needed a big old house to raise a family in, because that's what you do when you get married, right? So, we bought this big old house probably I guess it was like 6 years ago now, 6 or 7 years ago. So, we live in Upper Alabama. It's a big old house, not 2-story. It was 1-story, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, pool in the backyard, city limits. Like, it was a nice little get-up brick house. $250,000. Today, it would probably sell for $450, $500. Y'all know what I mean? Like, it's just, inflation's insane right now. So it's a cute old little house. It was a nice house. Well, we bought this house. And guess what? I'm putting his clothes up one darn day. Guess what I find? A pair of Old Navy boxers that's got jack-o'-lanterns on it. Like, you know how Old Navy will sell like festive for the season boxers? He had a pair of those and I didn't buy them. What man goes and buys himself jack-o'-lantern underwear? No one. Not my country boy husband at the time. By the way, I'm not going to say his name. So if you could think of like 5 basic white boy country names, he's on the list of top 5. I'm just going to call him. So, me and was married. We stayed in that house for a couple years together. We were in a smaller house before, but we moved into this bigger one. I heard one day, this was the first thing. So the underwear, the jack-o'-lantern underwear was weird. Then beside the jack-o'-lantern underwear, there was a CC's buffet receipt where he had paid for himself, one other adult, and a child. So the first thing I noticed was the jack-o'-lantern underwear, the CC's receipt with the child and the friend, which he did have a best friend that we were all friends with since high school who had little siblings, like several little sisters, and they were super sweet, and we did hang out with them sometimes. So when I asked him about it, he told me it was that friend and one of his little sisters, and it was his turn to treat. Baby, you know that's a darn lie. You know that's a lie. But I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know it was a lie at the time. So I trusted my husband. But, like, I just keep having this little voice. Like, this little voice. Something ain't right, Meredith. Something ain't right. But at this part, at this time, I ain't real close to the Lord. And I ain't listening to his will, and I ain't listening to what he's telling me, and I'm going off of Meredith, and that's why it was a crap show, because I went off of Meredith and not the Lord. Anyways, so what I did was I called him one day on the way home from work. This was another thing. I called him one day on the way to work, and his Bluetooth, I guess, hooked up to his truck. He was driving, and I was driving. And I could hear a girl, like it sounded like a blip, like a glitch. It sounded like a glitch. It didn't sound like she was in the truck with him. It sounded like a glitch, like she accidentally connected to his Bluetooth. Maybe he was on the phone with her or something. Still to this day, I don't know. I don't know if she's in the truck with him, but I know when I called and it connected to Bluetooth, I could like hear a woman's voice or something, just like a little blip. And I said, what was that? And he said, oh, what should I call her? Be nice, Meredith. What's just a random name? We're gonna call her Sarah. We're just gonna call her Sarah. That is not her name at all. I used to have a cat named Sarah. R.I.P. Sarah Palin was my cat's name. So we're just gonna call this girl Sarah. And so Sarah, I could hear her in the truck of his car, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Why did I just hear that voice? And he said, oh, so he was a manager. He was a manager at a grocery store. She worked in his department. Ghetto. When I'm saying this out loud, this is so ghetto and embarrassing. He made good money. It was a really good grocery store, if you can say that. So he made pretty good. But with that came his freaking ego and thinking that he was the boss of everything. I'm like, no, baby, you're just a manager at a grocery store. Calm down. Calm down, buddy. Anywho, this girl was a single mom. I assume, I don't really know. But she did have a child. So, I know it's hard out here in these streets, but she got with my husband at the time. And that wasn't cool, Sarah. That was not cool. Not very girl code of you. So, I hear Sarah on the phone in my husband's truck, and I say, hey, husband, like, what's going on? Hey, why do I hear a woman? He said, oh, she's just calling me from the job. She's just calling me. And we had talked about her later that evening, and he told me she was literally mentally retarded, was his words. Now, this was 6 years ago. We weren't politically correct. He said she literally has a learning disability. I would never be attracted to her. He made her sound like, I thought there was something like wrong with her. Like I was like, oh, maybe she's like, maybe they hired her because she's like special needs. Like, he got me on that one. He's lied. He got me on that one. So I'm sitting here thinking this woman ain't no threat. She's special needs. She needs to go to the Special Olympics. And all along, she's macking on my husband, going out to eat with him on lunch breaks. They're going to Chili's. He's spending $70 at Chili's to feed her and him on lunch break. And when I'm asking about it, he's saying he's going with his men co-workers who are also managers. This is form of networking. It is my form of networking so that I can make more money, so I can move up, so I can provide better for you, so you can have kids and stay home with them. This was the lie that I was being fed this whole time. Was I have to go to these networking things because I have to move up. I have to grow these relationships. I need these managers to like me, so I'm going to pay for their Chili's. When in reality, he's taking his side chick, who he says is mentally retarded, out to eat. What? Shoot, this was crazy. I used to say, Lord, why is my life so vanilla? Spice it up a little bit. Lord, everybody's been through these trials and tribulations. I ain't got no testimony. God said, bet, I'll fix it. Bet. Say less, Meredith. Say less, my daughter. I got you, girl. And then, chaos. So, what happened next? After he told me that she ain't got a lick of sense, I took her to Chili's. And then, as a part of the whole networking thing, like moving up, he would always use what I wanted against me to justify what he was doing. Like, okay, he's going to have to go out of town to open up a new store, which was very top tier management. Like, if they let you do this, if they let you, they do like a trial run. If they let you do that, then the next time you get your own store, those managers make $120,000 a year. In Alabama, that's a really good salary. So, this is the lie I'm being fed. Weeks go on, months go on. He's going to Chili's. He's going to CC's buffet. He's going, where all did I see? Oh, I found he was going to Monaco. If y'all live near Huntsville, Alabama, you know Bridge Street, there's a big theater, a movie theater. He took them to the darn movies, like 40 minutes from where we live while we were married. What? These are just the charges that I'm finding out later on after the fact. Like, there's so much that comes out. There's so much that comes out. I see a charge. They went and saw the freaking Lion King. Like, he took his side chick to go see Lion King with her child while I'm at home thinking he's working late to provide all these things for me. His high school sweetheart, the love of his life, his best friend. Huh. You know, on the Lion King, can you hear? Or is it, can you feel the love tonight? Liar! Well,
Part
good morning,
3.
y'all. I'm back. Back with a little bit more to the story from yesterday about my crazy divorce story, about my lying, cheating, low-down, sorry ex-husband. Oh, I said it. His name, we're calling him. And then the woman's name, I've decided on Sarah. Her name is not Sarah at all. That just spoke to me, so I'm going to call her Sarah, and because he's a little fart. So, we're talking about when he went on his very important business trip, and what happened during that time period. So he went on a very important business trip to Sevierville, Tennessee, Smoky Mountains, Gatlinburg area. He is opening the store for his job, so he can get this blah, blah, blah fitting to his name. So, a bunch of hot air. So, trying to put my shoes on real quick and talk to y'all. So, he goes to Gatlinburg, drops a location at some hotel along the way. Like, he just drops a pin. Because we don't have each other's location. I mean, we just trust each other. Because, you know, it's been, 10 years we've been together. 10, 11 years. We didn't really do locations like that. So, anywho. First mistake, I suppose. Actually, that ain't the first mistake. Anyways. I don't have his location. He just drops a pin and I trust him. That ain't the hotel he was staying at. He told me that the company had other people in management, like the same level of management, lower management like him. And he was rooming with another guy. He gave me the guy's name. He told me all about him. He told me the store he worked at. He told me about like his wife and kids, and he did not roommate with no other middle manager. He was up there getting his fiddle diddled with some girl who works in the produce department. I found some credit card statements later about his time spent in Gatlinburg with his mistress and her child. Oh man, the lies upon lies that I just came tumbling out. Tumbling on down them lies. Right on down to the liquor store. Right on down to Victoria's Secrets. Right on down to No Way Jose's. Right on down to, where else I go? Ripley's Believe It or Not Aquarium. You took your girlfriend and her child to the aquarium. Well, I was sitting at the house. Actually, I wasn't sitting at the house. I worked those, while he was out of town. I did hair at the time. So I was in the salon on my feet, busting my butt, getting my clients done. And he was getting done a different way. Raggedy, raggedy, raggedy. I gotta go to work. I'll tell y'all more later. So they're up there having a good old time. But I think he's working, and he told me he's going to be working sun up to sundown. Because this is a big opportunity. I can't have my phone on me. That looks bad. That looks bad to be on my phone texting my wife while I'm working on opening this store. So I won't be on my phone a lot. Okay? I mean, he was going in at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, working till 7 o'clock at night. What I'm being told. The credit card statements that I found that he didn't know I had access to. The reason that I am posting these is because girls, ladies, men, whomever, if you are married and you just have that gut feeling, you feel it in your, you feel it. You feel it in your gut, just something's off. Check into it. Check into it. The Lord gave us intuition for a reason. Use it. Just like your brain, use it. Man, it's hard though. It is hard when you know somebody for so long and you think you know them. Wild, man, wild. So anyways, girls, ladies, men, anybody, TikTokers, if y'all are thinking something's going on, check it out. First, give yourself a check. Say, am I being crazy? Then, do a little chickadee check. I remember one night, I was sneaky. I was pretty sneaky. So one night, was in the shower, and I snuck by. He had his Apple Watch, and he had took it off to get in the shower. But he had been real weird about passcodes and stuff recently, which we had never been like that, ever, ever, ever. But he had been real weird, and he had changed the password on his phone and his watch. Now, it's not like I went through all his stuff all the time. It is not like that at all. What it is like when we were in the car and stuff, I would get his phone, like to play music on the Bluetooth or to look something up, or like I would have his phone sometimes, but that's normal. He was my husband, like we're around each other. I think it's weird to have passcodes and y'all don't know each other's passcodes. I think that's I get the trust thing, like you need to trust each other. Okay, then trust each other with your passcodes. Like, I have nothing to hide with my husband that I'm married to now. Nothing to hide. And that's going to make a good marriage. They'll maybe last instead of... Anyways, learn from your mistakes is what I'm saying. So, he changed the passcode. Who does that? Come on, dead giveaway. Dummy. But he would always say, it's just because I want you to trust me. I need you to respect me and trust me. I was like, I do respect you. Like, you pay all the bills. I didn't know how to pay a bill. He took care of everything. I did not know how to buy anything. I didn't know how to pay a bill. I don't know how we bought our house. I don't know how we bought our cars. I was literally just taken care of. And that was my own darn mistake for trusting and letting all that responsibility on another human. But it's your husband, so you want to do that. I go back and forth all the time. So I'm like, I should have done better in this. But then I was like, but I want to trust my husband with these things. But he shouldn't have took advantage of me and broken the trust. Anywho, what was I talking about? I got off track. My brain just gets to rambling. So, I took his Apple Watch while he was in the shower. And I literally was so sneaky. He did not darn see me. He did not see me. And I went to the other side of the house. And I went into the bathroom because he was being so weird about not getting on his phone, not getting on his Apple Watch, anything like that. So I grabbed it, went into the other bathroom on the other side of the house. It wasn't 2 seconds later. He ran across the house with a towel wrapped around him, dripping water everywhere, banging on the door. Open up. I've never heard him so mad, ever. He was not like a screaming type. He about knocked the door down. But the thing is, I couldn't get into it anyways because I didn't have the passcode, because he had changed the passcode and I didn't know until right then at that moment. And then was the, I need you to trust me thing. I don't want a relationship where we go through each other's phones. You want to know why? You want to know why people don't want you to go through their stuff? Because they're hiding something. That's weird. I think it's weird. I think it's weird to want to check somebody's stuff all the time. That's not healthy. But I also think it's weird that, like, if I asked my husband for his phone, he would just go, here, baby. And if my husband asked me for my phone, I would go, here, baby. Because that's normal. I'm not trying to hide anything. Like, you might try to surprise them with something, but you shouldn't be, I don't like it. We are one, we are married, we are sharing finances, and you can't share your phone. We're sharing a bed, a home, and you can't share your phone or your Apple Watch. That's lame. That's lame. I ain't buying the excuse. That's my opinion on that. So never got into his phone, never got into the Apple Watch. What else did I do next? Holy smokes. Here we go. Okay, a little more backstory about the trip setup. So before he went on vacation with his mistress, he had told everybody that it was a work trip. His brother and our very good mutual friend, like best friend, they might as well have been our family, both worked for the same company. Sometimes they were in the same stores, sometimes they weren't. It's just how it works. So they know when stores are opening and stuff, typically, I assume. So he had told all of them about this store opening. So his brother, my brother-in-law, he told them that he was going to open a store. His best friend, our best friend, told him he was going to open a store. He lied to every single darn person that was close to him. He absolutely lied. We were sitting at the table with my parents one night cooking dinner. My mama had cooked dinner and we were eating dinner. And he was telling them all about it. My dad was that's what makes me madder than everything. Don't be mean to my mom and daddy. My dad, funny story, my dad actually worked in a grocery store almost his whole life. But my dad is a wholesome guy and he would never do nothing like this. Anywho, my dad got his first job. And because of that job, because of the training my dad did with him, he was able to go to a different store and make more money. So it's like, my parents always took him on vacation with us. Guess where we always went? Gatlinburg. I'm not kidding you. The restaurants that he went, like, his parents didn't have nothing. We never went on trips with his side of the family, with his family. We went with my family. My family is not well off, but my parents always made a way, and we did go on vacations. We're not rich by any means, but we always had what we wanted and what we needed. And anywho, the same places he took his mistress and her daughter were the same places my parents have took us on vacation. Like literally the restaurants they went to, same places. He would have never, and that's the thing that gets me. Don't be mean to my mom and daddy. Don't take advantage of my family and my mom and daddy's good heart. They got you your first job, boy. They got you your first job. They took you to all these places that now you're going to go take. Now you're going to go take your side chick. That's raggedy. That's just some of it, though. There. Later in the story, I get more raggedy as well. But right now, we're just going to talk about his raggediness because it's my story and I guess I can do it how I want to. Story time, part 5. I'm sitting outside. I just got done watering my flowers, so it might be a little loud if some cars pass by. So, part 5 is going to be some background on relationships. Started dating at 14, summertime, sometime in between, what is that, like 6th grade? I think it was 6th grade. I had one of my friends, 6th or 7th, maybe the summer in between 6th and 7th. I had one of my friends go ask him out for me because Lord knows I wasn't going to talk to a boy. I wasn't going to talk to a boy, but I sure was going to try to date one. You know how dumb 14-year-olds are. So anyways, that's what we did. And he said yes. He sure enough said yes. He did not say no. I did not make him. He said yes in his little starter shirt and cargo shorts. And I think it was just some Nikes, so the shoes were fine. But those cargo shorts, oh God. Anywho. That should have been my first red flag, but when you're 14, you're just literally an idiot. So anywho, he said yes, we started dating. OMG, let's go to the movies. Oh yeah. That kind of stuff. Like just going to the movies is stupid. But then eventually I got really close with his family. And we would go to his family's house every single Saturday. We would go to his grandparents' house, not his. We didn't. Backstory on that, I never went inside his parents' house. One time ever was I allowed inside their house, ever. For what was our relationship, 11 years? 11 years, and I was only allowed in his parents' house one time, and his parents didn't even know because his parents wouldn't have let me in. Not that they didn't like me, but because their house was, I don't want to talk crap about them. Anywho, they're poor off enough. Come on by, big truck, loud as can be. I live in Alabama. It just comes with the territory. If that tells you who I'm dealing with, something like that's what I'm dealing with. So, went into his trailer at his parents' house one time ever. Had to close my eyes to go in there to use the restroom. He said, keep your eyes closed the whole time. And I was like, this is so weird. So as soon as I got in the bathroom, you know I opened my darn eyes, and it was awful. But again, not my business. I ain't going to talk crap about him. But 11 years, went in their house once. So we went to his grandparents' house most weekends. Like every weekend for probably years. Sometimes even during the week we would go up there and see his grandma and his granddaddy because they lived real close to the school we went to. Also, my mama was a teacher at the school we went to. So I live in the city, but my mom is a teacher in the county schools. So I got to go to a county school. So lived in the city, went to school in the county, went to the county school, and his grandparents lived down the road from them, down the road from the school. So we would go there a lot. Like if we had like a football game or basketball, volleyball, whatever game, we'd go there and then go back to school for the game because it was close. Well, they treated us good. Like they were better than his parents. And I loved his grandparents. They loved me. Sure enough, they loved me. Let me tell you. Whatever. Like I would go over there and I would, as a 16-year-old, as a 17-year-old, for Christmas and Thanksgiving, guess who was cooking? Me. He had aunts, uncles, older people, younger people, cousins, just low down. So I cooked. I remember vividly cooking Thanksgiving by myself one year when I was still a freaking teenager. I don't think we were married. I'm talking I did main, sides, dessert. Everybody showed up and talked about how good it was. But how's 20 people gonna show up and nobody can bring a thing of rolls? Like, that's what I'm dealing with here. I'm really carrying this. Y'all ever heard of Southern hospitality? Go to the Dollar General, get the quarters out of your cup holder, and pick up a 2-liter. Rude. But what did I expect? So anyways, and then another little story, when all was said and done and I decided that we were going to divorce, I called his grandmother, because at this point he had went MIA, like could not get in touch with him for nothing. He had not told any of his family, like he literally just went disappearing off the face of the earth. That's a crazy story. Anyways, I called his grandmother, who I was very close with. Again, went to her house every single weekend, cooked for her on holidays, got her gifts on her birthday, told her happy Mother's Day. Like, I mean, we had sat and talked and played all kinds of board games together for years and years and years. I called her just to say, hey, I'm so sorry, you know, our relationship is ending. This is not working out. Guess what she did? She pretended like she knew me until I told her why I called. And then all of a sudden, Grandma got dementia, I reckon. I don't know. She sure didn't have it a little bit ago. But anyways, all of a sudden, Grandma got dementia and said, who is this? Who? I said, I'm married to your grandson. What do you mean, who? I am his wife. And she said, who? And she hung up on me. She heard me say all the stuff we were divorcing. I'm so sorry. I said, I'm so grateful for everything y'all have done in my life and, you know, been a good example. Thank you for having me over at your house. I'm so sorry that, you know, this has happened. Like, I was very humble. I was not crap talking him at all. And she knew who I was until I said, we're divorcing due to, infidelity on his part. Grandma got dementia and hung up. To be continued. So I found out about the affair. I confronted him. I remember when I confronted him, he didn't look shocked. He didn't look mad. He just, like, he looked like a shell of a person. Like, the person I knew was no longer inside of him, if that makes sense. Like, it was weird. It was the blankest stare I have ever received from him. Because granted, so, like, all those years together was like our childhood, teen, grown up. So like we grew up together. I saw him in every phase of growing up. How many times can I do this? Man, I talk a lot with my hands. Anyways, so we knew each other, I thought, pretty well. I thought. So when I confronted him about it, he was just, this was the stare I got. Like, yeah. So, well, what are you gonna do with that? And I remember just talking, and the first thing I said, was like, okay, well, you know, this is not ideal. But I didn't say that. I was like, okay, let me show you grace. Let me show you mercy. Let's talk about this. And I sat down, and I tried to talk to him about it. No, that just did not. I really don't remember a lot from that night. I feel like I definitely probably blacked out. Let me think. Like, blacked out from the trauma. I didn't drink or do drugs or anything. I just overwhelmed. Like, I don't remember everything, but I think he was working late that night. He had been working overnights, you know, to get a promotion and stuff. Ooh. I wonder, I still don't have a clue if he was actually working at the store or not. I do not know. Except for one night, I darn called. He was not there. I called and asked for the meat department, because that's the department he worked in. Did that make you want to throw up? So Sarah worked in produce. Sometimes she helped in meat with, for those of y'all who haven't watched it, is what I'm referring to my ex-husband as, because I just don't want to say his name. And Sarah is the girl's name. That's not actually her name at all. I named her Sarah after my dead cat, Sarah Payton, my kitten. She stayed outside and she died. And now I'm calling this girl Sarah. But man, that sounds like I'm not trying to say anything crazy. Sarah was just the first name that came to my mind. Next, continue. Golly, I can get on a tangent real quick. Focus up. What am I talking about? When he found out. Yeah, shell of a person. Crazy. Oh, he was working overnights, and I called where he works at the grocery store, and I asked for the meat department. The associate there, the person who answered the phone, if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would have. I don't know. He just really solidified it for me. He was like, no, he ain't in. He left a few hours ago. just so nonchalantly, like, you know he wasn't lying. He didn't know me. He didn't have nothing to lie about. You want to know why he didn't know me? You know what I found out later? The store, he had got moved to a different store, not in our city, that he was working at, you know, to get a promotion. He was working overnight. And I didn't know anybody in there. The one in our hometown, I would go in there, I'd speak to people, I'd have my little grandmas in there I'd chit chat with, go to the same person to check out. I knew them. I used to work there at one point at the one in our town when I was going through hair school. But enough about me. Back to the drama. He didn't tell anyone in that store, in the new town, in the other town, that he was married. Or at least he did not tell that girl, is what she told me when I met her in the front yard of the home that and I bought to raise our children in. LOL. She told me. That's a whole other, I'm gonna have to make another part, because I met up with her and we had a little chit chat, and she told me he never even told her he was married. And then she said, well, I didn't know at first. So I'm mostly, and I'm not the person that's mad at her. Yes, well, I mean, I am mad at her, but the blame is definitely on, because he was the one who had a commitment, not Sarah. Sarah don't know me from nobody. She don't know me anything, but good grief. He didn't even tell anybody about us, and we've been together for... Don't nobody deserve that. And that's why I was so quiet at one point, and I did not talk like this. I did not have this confidence. I didn't have this personality, because I was not told I was beautiful. I was not taken out on dates and shown out. I wasn't shown off, excuse me. I wasn't like, good grief, I didn't know how crappy I was getting treated and how good I thought it was. If you are in a relationship and they are not being nice to you, baseline nice, complimenting, I mean, good grief, they need to open your doors. I mean, that's not a have to, but good grief, let's get some darn standards. I cannot believe that I let myself stoop that low. To let myself be treated the way I was treated. A piece of dog crap don't deserve that. Lying, cheating, throwing you out. Like, we are all worth something, and baby, I did not know my worth. Thank you, Jesus, for delivering me out of that mess. Next up, what should we talk about next in it? Oh, Lord mercy. So we had to sell the house. Let's talk about selling so we bought the house in April. Found out about the fair in October. So April to October of the same year. April, May, June, July, August, September, October. We're in the house 6 months. But he had been having it since, what I say, August. He'd been having the affair. So April, May, June, July, August. We're in the house 4 months when he had an affair. 6 months when I found out about it. And then guess what? I'll be texting the real estate agent. We need to list. And that's what we did. And then a bunch of other stuff went down. For real, to be continued. And every time I think of something, I just set my phone up and start recording. So this little episode, bizarre. I had somebody message me on Instagram. Some lady that I knew of her, but I didn't know her. And her husband worked together. Man, these grocery stores are a cesspool for cheaters and dirty liars. Anywho, she messaged me on Instagram, and you know when you get those messages, it's like, I know this is weird, but hey girl, or hey, I don't know you, but blah, 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 blah. Well, she said, hey girl, I need you to call me, and she sent her phone number. She's like, I know this is weird. We were not even friends on Instagram. Like, I knew of her. I had heard of her husband. I don't think I had met him, but talked about him a lot. Like, they were friends too, but not like my friend. Like, I didn't know him. So anyways, his wife, messaged me on Instagram. And I see the message request because we're not friends, so I don't get it. I'm like, who sent me a message request? That's weird. So I go in there and read it. Hey girl, call me. I'm like, here we go. Pit in my stomach. And so I'm trying to get ready for work as I'm doing this. Because I still do have responsibilities. So she messaged me. So I get inside. It's not home because, you know, he's at work or in the Bahamas or something. I don't have a clue. Whatever. I don't know why I said that. He didn't go to the Bahamas that I know of. But I don't know where he's at is what I'm saying. And so I call her and she's like, hey. And she's got this weird voice like she don't know how to tell me something. And she says, I don't remember how she started it, but we talked on the phone for like an hour. So bottom line, moral of the story is they live about an hour away from us in the opposite direction. That's one reason why I hadn't met her. Like, I knew she was sweet. I knew they had a little son. We had talked about them several times, but I just hadn't met them. Like, anyways, she said, I just got to tell you what happened to me. And she said that it was around Halloween time and never before had we met, so she didn't know what I looked like, but she knew my name, or she knew my name. So shows up at that guy's house. I'm gonna call him Bubba. His name starts with a B, but it ain't Bubba. I'm gonna call him Bubba. So they show up. So, and Sarah drive an hour away with Sarah's child, and this is how he gets busted, or another way he gets busted. He drove an hour away to go to Bubba's house, or not to go to Bubba's house, to go to Walmart. So he drove an hour away to go to Walmart. He passed about 6 Walmarts before he got there. This is what this woman on Instagram is telling me, Bubba's wife. And Bubba's wife says, he calls Bubba and says, hey, we're in y'all's part of town. You care if we stop by? We just came over here to go Halloween shopping. Can we stop by the house and visit? And she was like, okay, I'm not gonna lie, girl. I thought that was really weird that y'all wanted to just stop by my house while you were in town. We'd never met before. We weren't chill like that. Why would you just invite yourself over to somebody's house? Because you know, us Southern people want our house real clean when people come over, and you don't just show up. Not on people you don't know like that. So anyways, and Sarah showed up at Bubba's house, rolled up in the truck out. And Sarah and the child get out of the car. And she's like, Bubba's wife is like, that's weird. Why they got a kid with them? They don't have kids. And Meredith don't have kids. Why they got a kid with them? Maybe it's their niece. Maybe it's their niece is what she said. She's like, I don't know. I just thought it was maybe the niece. So they introduced the girl's name. Her name's not Sarah. It's something that kind of sounds like my name. So Bubba's wife was like, I didn't think that was your name, but it was close enough that I didn't catch it right off the bat. So she was like, okay. They hung out at the house. She said the little girl played with her son. Sarah played with her son. And she was just like, okay, she's thinking this is a normal thing. Until the little girl looks up at Sarah and calls her mama. And then Bubba's wife goes, they don't have kids. Who is this woman in my house playing with my son? Like, literally, that's how she said it. She's like, who is this in my house with my child? And what is my husband up to? Why is he not saying anything? Because he knows that's not his wife. Like, he knows that's not his wife. Who is this Sarah girl? And who's this child? So, and Bubba are out in the backyard chit-chatting. I don't know what they're talking about. But to me, that sounds secretive if everybody else is inside playing with the kids and they're outside having a little powwow. I wonder what happened. Anywho, I'm just too nosy. I gotta know. I gotta get ready for work though. Where's my eyeshadow? And, golly, beats all I ever heard. So she's like, crap, that is not. Who is this woman in my house? Who has my husband let in my house to play with my child? And where's my darn eyeshadow brush? I'm gonna use this one. So she's calling me to tell me that these people and had introduced Sarah as his wife. That's why she was calling me. She thought I didn't know about the affair already. She thought I didn't know. She's like, your husband is showing up at my house with a child that is calling her mama with a different woman that he's calling his wife. They went an hour away to go to a Walmart to buy Halloween costumes when they passed about 6 on the way there. And she had girl code. That wife was girl code. Bubba's wife. Thank you, Bubba's wife, for making me feel not insane. We talked for the longest and the longest. And what else happened with Bubba's wife? She's so sweet. She thought, oh, this is a good one. So, one night, all the managers, because Bubba was a manager too. He was in the same position as at the store, like same level as management, I think. And they had all been hanging out drinking one night for one of them's birthday or something. And then a couple of days later, this all happened. So Bubba's wife is thinking that everybody that was at that party is in on this, and that it's like a company-wide affair. So Bubba's wife was like, do you think at that shindig they were at? Like, why did Bubba not tell me that was having an affair? She said, I think that's weird that he didn't tell me, because he knew when that woman walked in the door that it was not me. She said, why is Bubba not telling me what's going on? And why did he go to this party with all these men drinking? And then a couple of days later, this woman showed up at my house with this child that's calling her mama, and it ain't you. And she's thinking her husband is having an affair too. I don't know. Because there was this conspiracy going around for a while that everybody that went to that party was cheating on their wife, and they're all in on it, and they're all pretending that nobody knows anything. They're all going in to open these stores that are not opening and don't exist, and they're taking their little side pieces on these vacations. Like, it opened this whole can of worms. Company-wide scandal. Wild. But wait, there's more coming soon.
Y'all, okay, let me tell you the backstory about this manager party. If you watched the last video, at the end of the last video, I started talking about it. Listen to this lie that came about a hickey. He came to pick me up to take me out on a date because we were going to work it out. We were going to try to work it out. Hey, Franklin, now's not the time. You can't be loud right now. Kennel, go to bed. My dog is so loud. Rude. So he was going to pick me up and take me out on a date. Well, when he picked me up, he was wearing a collared shirt. Sure enough, it was a hickey, and it wasn't from me, because I knew he was having an affair and we were working on a marriage, so I sure wasn't giving him a hickey. It wasn't me, and that's icky. He was wearing a collared shirt. It was popped up. So the first thing you do is turn it down. All right. So we went to the Mexican restaurant, and I'm mad at him because he's got a hickey on his neck. And he's mad because he's done been caught in 16 lies, and he just thinks he's the smartest person, and we're the sorry people. So I'm asking him about it. You know what he comes up with? Like this. Less than a minute. What he tells me is at that party that he went to with all the managers where they were hooting and hollering and getting drunk a couple nights ago, his best friend, they were playing beer pong and threw a ping pong ball real hard. He threw it so hard. It hit him right there. It hit right there. And he said, you don't believe me? Call him. Call best friend. Call him and ask him. I'm like, I'm not bringing your friend into this raggedy mess again. Like, this is humiliating at this point. And he convinced me that he had thrown the ping pong ball. Like, he said all the guys were doing it. They were just drunk and it was stupid. And he threw a ping pong ball and it hit him right there. Now, looking back at it now, it's so funny because one of my friends, I hope she watches this. I used to work with her at the salon. I love her to death. She's crazy. But you know what? I needed somebody like her. And I was crazy too. So I'm not saying anything bad about her. I love her. Still do. I was telling her about it. She walked with me through a lot of this. And I was telling her about it. And she looked at me and she said, "Shut up. He didn't get hit with the darn ping pong ball, you idiot." And I said, like, I needed somebody to shake me and say, he's lying, because I believed him. She told me that, and I said, you're so right. And guess what I did? I worked at the salon at the time, so I was in between clients, and I walked right outside. This was a day or two later. It was on a Saturday, because we were supposed to be going to one of our friends. Our friends were getting married. So his best friend that I was supposed to call was actually in the wedding party, and he was golfing with like some of the groomsmen and stuff before the wedding later that evening. Anyways, I stepped outside and I called his best friend and I just said, "Hey, like, just want to like confirm with you something that is telling me, you know, we're trying to work on our marriage. Thank you for talking to him. We're going to do counseling, blah, 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 blah. Did you give my husband a hickey with the ping pong ball?" And he said, "What?" And I said, "Did you throw a ping pong ball at his neck so hard that it left a red whelp that looks like a hickey?" And he got really quiet. And he said, I'm like golfing and I'm around a lot of people. Let me call you right back." Great guy. So he called me back about 5 minutes later and he said, "Hey, I walked off. What is going on?" And so I told him and he said, "I can't say I did. I cannot say I did not do that." And I said, "So you're telling me you didn't give my husband a hickey?" Because that's what he's telling me. And he said, "No, Meredith, I didn't do it. Like, that was not me." And I'm just like, how bold do you have to be to say it's a hickey? Call him if you don't believe me. Call my best friend if you don't believe me. Call him. And then you're not even smart enough to tell your best friend that you told me that so he could corroborate your story. If you tell me to fact check you, I'm probably going to fact check you. Now, anyways. Then, I guess I didn't. I was a real big old dummy. Anyways, this sucker convinced me that his best friend gave him a hickey with a ping pong ball. And I didn't believe him until my friend shook me out of that dumbness. What would we do without these people? Everybody needs a friend like that that's going to say, honey, that ain't the one. Shoo-wee. You know what else he did while he was taking me out on that Mexican date? He weaseled his way into the house by saying he was going to put some antifreeze in my car because it's starting to get cold. It's going into fall time. And he's trying to take care of me because we're just going to make this marriage work. He got my car keys because he was going to put something in my car, antifreeze. So he got my car keys and took the truck keys off of it, took anything. He went and got like his guns, his Xbox, PlayStation, whatever. A few little things that were like, I guess, real important to him. But he took the truck key. That's why he came over to take me out on a date. He wasn't going to try to work anything out. He was playing the player. He was trying to fool me again. So he said he was doing antifreeze, being a good guy. No, he just came over for ulterior motives so that he could get in the house, so that he could get the truck key, so that he could get his little Xbox, so that he could get his crap, whatever he needed. He sure didn't get very much because I still had to pack and move the whole darn house. But he went and got things that would just benefit him, and then pretty much just said, and left for the night. Left and went back to work, I guess. Lord, this is wild. I thought that he was going to try to work on our marriage. He had sent me pictures of like counselor's office that he had tried to schedule with. He had told everybody that, like his friends, his best friend and his brother, that he was done with that other girl. He was done with Sarah. All along, Sarah met him the morning after the party. I found out Sarah met him the morning after the party. All the men after the party went to Bojangles. She met him in the Bojangles parking lot. I don't know if those other men saw him or saw her or not. I don't know. I still don't know that. I want you to believe them. But you know, I'm just a gullible person. So anyways, after they got drunk all night, they went to Bojangles. Well, had Sarah meet him at Bojangles, I guess. And I think she gave him a hickey right in the Bojangles darn parking lot. That is so greasy. That is so greasy. And you know what? I can't decide if it would be fun or disgusting to give somebody a hickey in a Bojangles parking lot. I do love bow rounds. But golly, trashy. Oh, dealing with psycho liars who give hickeys in the Bojangles parking lot. Golly, I got on here to tell y'all about the story of me going to Verizon with my daddy and the little Mexican gay guy that helped me with my phone. I'm pretty sure his name was Manny. So if your name is Manny and you worked at Verizon about 6 years ago, I think about you once a week, minimum. You are funny, and I hope you are remarried, and I hope you're doing good, and I hope you are a teacher and not just a sub anymore. Love you, Manny. Manny and me. So I was a total wreck. I went in there with my dad, who is also a total wreck at this time, because he's like, I gotta take care of my baby girl. I gotta take care of my daughter, and he's just not wanting to not kill somebody. He's wanting to not kill, but he's keeping it cool. He's keeping it cool. So he's pacing back and forth, hands in his pockets, just acting like a dad. But he's close by me while I'm talking to Manny, the sales rep at Verizon. And I'm talking to Verizon. I'm talking to Manny, and Manny's like, so how are you today? And I sit at that desk in front of Manny and start bursting into tears. Oh my God, I'm so humiliated thinking back on it now. But it's just like my emotions overwhelmed me. And when he asked me how I was, I'm here to cut off my phone plan because my husband's got a secret family. I'm not okay, Manny. And I started busting into tears. And my dad's like, he can tell that I need some space. So he like starts hovering, walking away. And so it's only me and Manny. And Manny starts talking about his ex and how his ex cheated on him at like a Lady Gaga concert or something. And he starts pulling up the footage to show me. Like, this is the craziest. Like, we just sit there and we start dogging our exes that cheated on us. Like, he's like, yeah, and I let them stay home and I supported them with a substitute teacher salary. And they didn't even have to work. And he was like talking this ex who did him wrong. I was like, I get it, Manny. So I told him what I needed to do. And he said, beep, 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 boop, boop, beep, beep. Got on there. I don't know what he did, but he was like, okay, so you don't want this phone anymore? Great. Here's you a new phone. And he took my phone that was on his plan, I still owe like $500 on it or something. He said, so typically we would need to like pay that off, but since you're returning that phone today, we'll just put that on your account. And so basically he just stuck with that $500. Plus, my dad, I got added to his plan, my dad's plan, who he had like, he had 3 lines on it already. So he added another one that was like $25 a month. So it was very cheap. Whereas on his plan, he was the only one on it now. So it not only went up, but then he had to pay the overage on the phone. And I just think that's so funny that Manny did that for me just based on me sitting down and bawling my eyes out and then watching a video of his ex act raggedy at a Lady Gaga concert. Thank you, Manny. Thanks, Manny. Hope you're doing good. I gotta clean my house today, and I'm gonna record it and I'm gonna put it on here. So I'm ready to wrap up this series. If you got any specific questions about my raggedy ex-husband that I found out was cheating and then all this crazy stuff happened, lies. If you have any specific questions, comment and I will get back with you. I'm sure I missed out a few things because I just get to rambling and chit-chatting. That's just me. I'm just a chit-chatter and I go left, right, here, there, everywhere. So
Went to Verizon, got my phone, switched over with my daddy. My daddy said, you need a phone, you need a car. Because the car I was driving was... So my dad went, and he's just the best. I have the best daddy in the world. If y'all got good parents, give him a hug, because not everybody does, but I'm blessed, and I know it. So thank you, Dad. Not rich by any means, but always provided for. So my daddy went and got me on his phone plan, and then my dad went and bought him a car, new to him, and gave me his old car. He said, I was talking about doing it anyways. But I wonder if he was just saying that to make me feel better about taking his old car. Anyways, I took his old car, and I drove that for a year or two. It was free. That was great. I got a free SUV. Thank you, Dad. And then, what else did my dad do? So then we had to file for divorce, and I was doing it because it was dumb as a rock, I reckon. And I went, met with the attorney, drew up the paperwork, blah, 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 blah. And I was talking to my dad about it because I didn't have any money. I just depended on for money. So I had went to the bank, and I literally, when I found out about all this, I went to the bank as soon as his paycheck deposited, and I left him $50 in his bank account. And I said, he's got credit cards, right? Obviously he does. He's been supporting his secret family with them. So I was like, he's got credit cards. I don't have credit cards. I only have this debit card that we're both on. So I had to go protect myself. So baby, I went and withdrew every single dollar that was in there minus 50. I did leave him $50 because I said, if he gets gas and it declines, you know, that would, I don't know why I did that, but I left him $50. Don't say I didn't give you nothing, buddy. And my daddy, so we didn't have any money, is what I'm trying to say. So my dad said, well, I'll pay for the divorce. I've been setting aside a little chunk of change for a flat screen TV, but I'll pay for your divorce. Well, lo and behold, we had a huge, gaudy flat screen TV, and I said, you can have that TV off the wall right there. In this house that we're fixing out to sell, you can have that TV right there if you pay for the divorce. And that's what I told that I was going to do. And he was like, all right. Well, because he didn't have to pay for it. So, because he didn't have to pay for it, I went into the attorney's office. Baby, I got alimony. The only debt I took on was my personal student loan debt for going to cosmetology school. I took that. But the credit cards, he took them. Both the cars, he took that debt. We were upside down on both of them, so that kind of worked out great. Plus, he paid alimony for a little bit. And he just signed it because my dad was paying for it. So it's like, well, what are you going to do? You want to go back and pay for the attorney to alter this? No? Okay, sign it. Bye. And then that was that. I did a few raggedy things. I had to return the car. And I returned the car in tip-top shrimp shape. What I mean by that is before I had to return the car, I had some frozen shrimp in my freezer, and I just went, and I let that shrimp thaw out the night before I had to return it. I took it out of the freezer, and I took that shrimp, and I shoved it in every piece of plastic I could inside that vehicle. At this point, I was like, I'm done with this. Take your car back, and it's going to stink. It's going to stink like a shrimpy cheater. And I put shrimp. I actually had a flathead screwdriver in the car already for some reason. I don't know. Girl Scout over here always prepared with my shrimp and my flathead. So I got this shrimp out of the freezer, took it out, let it de-thaw a little bit. I went and used that flathead screwdriver and went right into every single air vent. You know how there's plastic you can pull apart in cars, like the radio and on the side, like the paneling, I guess. I don't know. Shrimp. Tailpipe, put a couple shrimps. In the trunk, put a couple shrimps. In the cup holders, in the back seat, it went like this, so it was up and down. I shoved a couple down in there and then shut it. It was just like Easter eggs, shrimp Easter eggs. So sometimes I still think, like, how bad did it smell? When did they find it? How did they find it? And I don't know, I just am a little, like, going back, if I had to do that again, I probably would have put a little camera in it so I could have seen the reaction to the shrimp boil that was within that Dodge Dart in, what was this, October? But we're in Alabama, so sometimes it's still 80 degrees 80, 90 degrees in October in Alabama. Hot shrimp boil in that Dodge Dart, y'all. Come get it. I just did a few little raggedy things to get back at him that was stupid. I did that. I ain't gonna go into all the detail. But I left him $50 and a half a bag of shrimp scattered around that car. And then that was it. Then I changed my name on Facebook because that's what you do to stick it to the man. I changed my name on Facebook and it suggested Facebook dating. And I was like, here we go. This is so raggedy. I'm not dating anybody. This is the only guy I've ever dated. And look what he did to me. But I said, you know what? If he's out here having a good time, I'm fixing to talk to some people. So I did Facebook dating. That was the raggediest experience of my life. Other than, that's how I met my husband. It was so ghetto and so embarrassing. But you know what? It worked out great. I prayed to the Lord. I remember praying. At this point, I was like, I'm going to have to come to Jesus because I'm just screwing all this up. And my parents are very Christian. And so my mom was like, you need to pray, Meredith. Like, we're going to have to get this together. So I remember praying. And I just said, Lord, I want a godly husband. Lord, save this man. Like, while this is all going on. I said, Lord, bring him back. You know, and I'm repenting. I'm like, I'm so sorry for the things that I've done. I said, God, we're trying for a baby. I just want a baby and a godly husband. Lord, please grant me the desires of my heart. I am so sorry for turning away from your will for my life. I got on darn Facebook dating, and guess what happened? I'm getting chills thinking about this because I was living outside of God's will. As soon as I got in God's will, he said, come here, baby, I got you. And my husband now, this is fast forward. If you got any questions, let me know because I know I'm skipping around. But y'all, now my husband, the first date we went on was to church. And guess what? He was a single dad. I have chill bumps. I'm fixing to cry thinking about how good God has been to me when I did not deserve it. I prayed and did not understand why and I were not having a baby. And it was because the Lord said, he ain't the one. You do not want to raise a family with him. The Lord protected me. All those times I was bawling when I took pregnancy tests and it was negative. I firmly believe now, looking back, I did not get it then. That was one reason I kind of turned my back on God because I was like, you're not going to give me a baby? Well, forget you. So guess what? That was definitely the Lord's hand of protection because if I would have had a baby with, I would have still had to see him to this day. Thank you, Jesus, for the blessing of protecting me when I didn't even know it. So I prayed for a godly husband and I just said, Lord, I know I'm meant to be a mom. So I got on Facebook dating after I changed my name. Facebook said, after I changed my last name because I got divorced, Facebook said, do you want to try Facebook dating? And I was like, I didn't even know this was a thing. So I got on there and I messed around. Man, that was crazy. I met my husband. He loves the Lord. Single dad of a 2-year-old, the cutest, sweetest baby in the world. And he made me a mom, and he made me a wife again, and he loves the Lord, and he prays for me. And every day, I'm getting, like, the hairs on my arms are sticking up talking about how good God has been to me throughout this craziness. So I just wanted to share because I wanted to share a little bit of my testimony. I got a lot of new followers, so y'all want to know, if y'all wanted to know anything about me, I'm a darn open book. This is how the Lord has provided what I have for me. He took me out of a crappy situation that I didn't know was crappy at the time. He said, that ain't my will for you, baby. Get out of there. Run. Get out. And I said, okay. And I prayed and I prayed and I cried and I just couldn't understand why I was not having a baby. And it was because the Lord was protecting me. He was protecting my heart and protecting that child from this crazy guy. And now I have somebody who loves the Lord and prays for me, and I have a baby. I have a child, and I have a husband who loves the Lord now. The Lord has given me more than I deserve, and I'm fixing to cry, y'all. Okay, let me get off my soapbox and finish my makeup so I can get back to filming my house cleanup and my OOTD and the stuff that I really like doing. I love you guys. Bye.